So for this session, we have a really special guest with us, Amisha. Amisha is currently placed, is recently gotten placed with Google. Her joining is on 21st of August. She has also cracked various internships, Flipkart, Microsoft. So in this session, we will be discussing how she cracked such internships and how she finally got herself placed in Google. So make sure you watch till the end so that she shares all her tips and strategies, and you guys can also apply in your life so that you're also able to crack some great product based companies. So, welcome, Amisha. We are happy to have you here. Can you quickly introduce yourself?
So yeah, hi Shivani. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast. And so yeah, as you mentioned, I've done 2 internships, and I'm now working in Google. And before that, I've recently graduated from Triple IT Delhi. So yeah, that's it about myself.
Okay, cool. So, I saw your LinkedIn. You cracked a Flipkart internship in 2021 only, right? And you're a you're graduating in 23. So, you basically cracked the Flipkart internship in your second year of college, right? And it's called Flipkart Runway, if I'm not wrong.
Right,
Cool.
right.
So this is, I think this must be new for a lot of our users. So can you maybe tell us a little bit like how does this whole program works? And did this company or did this internship come to your campus, or was it something which you applied off campus?
So basically, Flipkart Runway is a program for second year female students. It's
Okay.
basically to give a runway to your career, right?
Okay.
So in my second year, I came to know about it from Unstop, that's a website, Unstop, and then I applied to it. So it was basically off campus. Our college also told us, but it was off campus. So
Okay.
first of all, there's this quiz online round which has MCQs. So which has all sorts of MCQs related to DSA, operating systems, and output based questions, and something about some two questions about Flipkart also, like that what are Flipkart's delivery people called, something like that. So all
Mhm.
these questions were there, and then based on this round, and I think they also looked at resume or CGPA. I'm not sure what's the criteria. They shortlisted 150 people all across India, and then
Okay.
these 150 students had their interviews, online DSA interviews.
Okay.
So then we had to, basically there were just DSA interviews, and since we were in second year, the questions were not very difficult. Like I was given a basic BFS question, so
Okay.
the questions were, I would say, read code easy to medium, and yeah, that's it. And then on the basis of that, they gave an internship to 23 girls. So I've also
Okay.
made a detailed video regarding this on my YouTube channel. So if anyone's interested, you can definitely check
Okay.
that out.
So yeah, guys, Amisha is quite literally a multitasker. She, apart from mentoring with us and also studying DSA and cracking jobs, she is also having her own YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. She also interviews a lot of people there and also shares insightful opinions. So make sure you guys check out her video as well. So yeah, so you basically, so this whole Flipkart runway thing is for women only.
Yes,
अच्छा, so ये इंटर्नशिप जो अपॉर्चुनिटी आती है सेकंड ईयर के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आती है बट फॉर women only, right?
right.
And is it a paid internship?
Yes, it's a paid internship, and the stipend has also increased a lot recently. So.
अच्छा. Okay, got it. So, Amisha, are there like any other more opportunities like this for people who are still in college who wants to maybe get into good companies? So, इसके अलावा भी are there any other companies who are also conducting such things for people to intern?
For women, we know where there are a lot of different programs, like say Walmart Code Hers.
Okay.
Amazon also had this. I don't remember the name, but Amazon also had this special program for women. But apart from that, for other people, like for everyone, there are hackathons. Like Flipkart Grid is a hackathon which enables people to get internships in their third year in Flipkart. Then there are
Okay.
different many hackathons are also conducted, and
Hmm.
some usually coding rounds, etc. Uh, Companies keep having these different kinds of programs. So for that, you can check out like different Telegram groups are
Okay.
there. Like one channel that I'd like to mention is Arsh Goel's channel. So in that, he posts a lot of videos about the upcoming opportunities. So that's something you can check out. So there are a lot of off campus programs happening.
So college is not really the issue for a lot of people. Like most of the people say, we are not from a tier one college and we don't have such opportunities. So that is not really the case anymore. A lot of great companies are doing such off campus things, and you can just participate in them and crack it, right? Great. Cool.
Right.
Amisha, so in third year, then you got the Microsoft internship, right? So can you tell us a little bit about that as well? Like, was it an off-campus thing, or was it something that came to your college?
So basically, Microsoft had this program, Microsoft Engage, and it's been quite famous. So it's basically, you can call it on campus and off campus both, because they do like the applications are open for everyone, but they say that they probably look at college, so can't be sure about that. So basically, Engage, we applied on their website. There was this link, and we had to apply there, and then everyone got this test. Everyone who applied got this test where there were questions like. Uh, Different questions, basically, that some coding based questions, some there was also some essay based questions, there were some MCQs also, so a very mixed kind of a test with a lot of things. So
Okay.
then based on that, they shortlisted people for the Engage program. And Engage program is basically, you are given a mentor from Microsoft, some software engineer from Microsoft who will mentor you. So this
Okay.
person will tell you, and you will have a problem statement that you have to make, say, a website. So in our case, we had to make something similar to Microsoft Teams, a
Okay.
video calling application, something like that. So then on the basis of that project, so sometimes they will give you a direct interview opportunity without even looking at your project, based on how you were during the entire duration, based on your mentor's feedback. And sometimes they will look at your project and then decide that if the project is good enough, then they will give you an interview opportunity. So
Okay.
then the interviews are again DSA based, operating system, OOPS,
Okay.
database management system, computer networks generally not asked, but it can be asked. So all these
Okay.
things.
Great. ठीक है Misha. So basically, in the second year of college only, you cracked the Flipkart internship and then the Microsoft one, and you also are from a CS background only. So you're doing your bachelor's in CS. So can you this basically shows that you have always had an interest in pursuing a career in coding, right? So can you maybe share like what was the that incident in your life, or maybe any reason, the reason behind your interest in pursuing a career in coding? What was that?
So I'll be very honest. I did not know much about coding before coming to college. In fact, like I did not even have, say, C++ or anything in my class 11th and 12th. So, but the
Okay.
thing that I liked was engineering. Like in general, I like maths and I like physics and I like chemistry. So that is the reason I got into engineering. And I
Mhm.
remember, like, my father was not very, like, he had not seen a lot of women engineers. So back then he didn't know that there's something like computer science or something. So he asked me that are you sure you want to be an
Hmm.
engineer and not a doctor, probably? So I
Hmm.
said that no, I don't want to be a doctor, and I just want to be there. So I did not know much about how it's going to be. I just like mathematics, and that's the reason I got into engineering. So I
How
think,
did
and
you go
then
for the branch then? How did you go for the branch कि मुझे CS ले लेनी चाहिए? Like was it something कि हाँ future possibilities बहुत ज़्यादा है इसमें growth की?
future possibilities, definitely, like, also, CS was like, it seemed interesting. First of all, like, who doesn't like, say, websites or all these
Yeah.
things, applications, and it just seems cool, first of all. And
Yeah.
secondly, I think there was this craze, and it still is there, that everyone wants CS. So
Hmm.
that was one of the main reasons. But yeah, I can say that I've never regretted that decision. It's always been great.
Okay, so your main decision was to be an engineer, and then you ended up liking CS as well, so you took that branch. Great. So, how many girls were there in your, your batch, if you had to say? Like, were there average or like, मतलब बहुत ही कम number था या फिर?
Uh, in our college, actually, we had, I think, yeah, I remember I once calculated the percentage also. So it was somewhere between 14 to 20%. So some branches had 13, 14%, some had 20%. And I think 20% was the maximum. So that is the ratio that's there in engineering colleges, around 20% at
Oh,
max.
great, great. ठीक है, Misha. So your journey has been like quite like I wouldn't say smooth, but then you have always had known कि मतलब मुझे ये करना है, तो you are preparing for it and you're getting opportunities for that as well. So I would now like to ask questions for those who take a different branch in college, right? Because they were not that aware, but then with the time they realize that there are a lot of opportunities in IT sector, and coding is something that they have some sort of inclination towards and they want to get into it. while being in college, right? So is there any tips or strategies you can share for such students? Because I know you cannot relate with them, but then there must be some things that you would have felt in your learning journey which you think people can take care of while starting, so that the ride is a little bit smoother for them, especially for non-CS people.
Yeah, so I think first of all you should have an interest. Like it's very difficult to do anything because you have to study what is being taught in the college. Like you have to maintain some decent CGP, and then you have to also do some extra work. So you need to have an interest. You can just be like, okay, they are paying well, so I will just go there, because then you will eventually just burn out and you'll not do anything. So firstly, I think interest is very important, because anyone who has been in some other branch and has done something good in CS, is the common factor has been that they have had an interest in coding.
Mhm.
So that
Mhm.
is one thing. And secondly, you have to put some extra efforts. Like you can join some courses, probably learn what is data structures, what's algorithms, probably learn web development. So you can join some course. You will have to, like, some people are against, say, paid courses or something, but I think paid courses actually make you feel accountable, right? And plus, in today's world where we are paying for the internet, we are paying for Zomato, we are paying for everything, right? So why not pay for something that can actually give you a better return on investment? So that is what I feel. So instead
Yeah.
of just relying on, say, YouTube or something, if that is not working for you, and if genuinely you can't afford, then I think YouTube also has some great content. That's not to deny that there are some great YouTubers who have put a lot of good content. But apart from that, if you can, then do afford, do buy courses, uh, different paid courses. I'm not going to take any names. So
Mhm.
yeah, so go ahead and learn DSA. At least the basics you will learn from some course, and then keep on practicing. So that is
Okay.
what I'd say, that practice DSA, and then uh, make some projects so that you have something in your resume, and then keep applying like anything. Like do not just stop. There are off-campus opportunities, so just keep applying and keep going for it.
And consistently practicing questions. And so, like you just mentioned, projects wala part. So, Amisha, anyone who is a fresher or a recent graduate, and even from a non-tech background, how much of a role projects really play in the whole scenario? Ki jobs crack karne ke liye, especially good product-based companies. Does it really matter to have really great projects in your resume, or a very good fundamental understanding of data structures and algorithm is enough to crack good jobs?
So during DSA interviews, I don't think projects matter a lot, because in very few interviews I have been asked about my projects. So in that sense, they don't matter a lot. Especially in the first few rounds, they are going to ask you only DSA, so they are not going to ask you about projects. But projects can help you get your resume shortlisted. So that is one thing. So either you should have some great projects, or you should have some great ranks in, say, competitive programming or something, or you should have some good internships. So something like that, that can help you stand out from the rest of the crowd. In that sense, projects help. And apart from that, like, I think projects are just fun to do. So that is one thing you should consider, and not just from the interview perspective. But yeah, projects are important, but not that much. Although if you're applying to a startup, in that sense projects are important, because startups will look at your skills basically. So projects matter a lot in that sense. But for companies, MNCs like Google, Microsoft, projects do not matter that much in the interviews.
Great. Cool, Amisha. So, you are currently also working as a mentor with acciojob, right? And I think you started working with us from last December only, if I'm not wrong. So it's been quite a long time for you here. So can you and you have interacted with quite a few students, and you know that we get a lot of tier three college students in our course, and tier two as well. But these people want to make a career in coding, but they're not that good right now, and you have interacted with them. So can you maybe share few learnings you've had so far? Like what is that specific problem which is common among the students that you've interacted with related to coding, and what is that one thing which stands out in them, like anything that you like and something which you think can be improved by the courses like us जो कि ऑनलाइन कोडिंग बूट कैंप्स हैं इनके थ्रू इनके लिए और क्या बेटर हो रहा है, एंड एनी एडवाइस दैट यू वुड लाइक टू गिव टू पीपल फ्रॉम टियर थ्री कॉलेज.
Uh, so one advice is that while practicing DSA, so I'll give advice specific to data structures and algorithms only, because I think that's the most important thing. So for DSA, a lot of people will just not learn the basics properly. Like they will, if they are learning about linked list, they don't know how to make a linked list. So they should, just try to implement all the basic functions themselves. That how to add some things, a node in the front, how to add a node in the middle, how to add a node at last, how to delete a node, things like this. Basics you should have clear first of all, and then you should solve the easy questions, and then you should solve the medium questions. And when you're solving a question, do not just look at the solutions or do not look at the hints directly. Like if I just try for 10-20 minutes and then I look at the hint or I look at the solution, then my I will forget it. Like there is no way that you can remember it. Or people will just come to the mentor and ask that okay, just tell me the solution, just tell me the complete code, and then they'll memorize it. That is not how it works, because you cannot memorize so many questions and every time you'll get a new question. So the important thing is that spend time on that. Spend, say 1 hour, 2 hours, take as much time as you can. And then if you're not able to solve at all, then just see a hint and then try with that hint. And then if that is also not working, then second hint. So do not see the solution. Even if the last resort is see the entire logic, but still try to write the code on your own. There are two things. Like one thing is the logic, and the other thing is that you know the logic, can you write the code now? So at least this should be clear that if you know the logic, you are able to write the code. So that is one thing you should be able to do. And then comes the logic part. So for that you need to spend hours sometimes. And then when you spend hours and then you finally see some hint and you're able to solve, or finally you look at the logic and then you solve, then we remember it because we have spent so much effort on it that our brain is like, please, I should remember it, because it seems like something that you have struggled to get. But if you just look at the solution in 10 minutes, so you'll just forget it. So that is one thing I have seen happening with students. But this thing that differentiates good students and the ones I think will be successful versus the ones who will just do the course and not have any benefit is that they are ready to, whether they are ready to learn or not. Like even while taking mock interviews, there are students who will tell me that if they're not able to solve the question, they just tell me, can you give me a hint, even when the interview is over. So that shows that they are willing to learn more than the interview or what happened. They are willing to work on their, the logic is important for them, that how do you solve this question. So that that passion of solving that, how do I get to the solution, and just they don't ask for the entire solution, they will just ask that give me a hint at least, that's it. So that is important. Yeah, the other thing that I think courses, AccioJob's course was good, but yeah, the spoon feeding, maybe students, that's up to the students, that mentors are there, but it's up to you that you should take their
Yeah.
help only when you're stuck for a long time, not just every time.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, Amisha, let's talk a little bit about your Google interview process, right? So, let us just tell us a little bit how you were able to crack it. Was it something that came to your college, or you applied on your own?
So actually, I got reached out by a Google recruiter on LinkedIn. They approached me and then they asked me to send my resume. And once when I sent the resume and they liked it, and then they said that okay, we'll schedule an interview. So
Okay.
that's how the company came. And then the interview rounds, they made it very clear that we will not be asking you anything apart from DSA and some googliness based questions. So
Okay.
DSA is like lead code medium questions, and googliness is something like they'll give you a situation and you have to tell that what will you do in that situation. So basically they want
Okay.
to check your innovative thinking or something like that. So
Acha. So these are like two rounds which happen. One is of a DSA, and the another one is called googliness, to check the googliness in in a candidate, basically.
No, actually, I had 3 rounds, and all three of them had two parts. One was DSA question, and the other was the googliness. So either they'll have one or two DSA questions, and then they'll have a googliness question. So that was the same format for all three interviews.
The whole interview process was pretty smooth for you, I guess. Like the kind of questions that were asked were medium level, or beginner level. How were they? Like, were they very advanced level, or?
I would say they were lead code medium level. I can't reveal the exact questions because that is not
Obviously.
allowed. But I
Yeah.
can tell you that like there was something based on intervals. So you have to apply binary search to that question. There was one
Hmm.
question based on they gave us situation, and in that you had to think that you can model it as a graph problem, and in that graph problem you can use DFS to find that whether there is a cycle or not in the graph. So if there's a cycle, then the answer is true. If there's not a cycle, then the answer is false. So questions like this. So these are lead code medium at best, uh, but you need to know the time complexity and such things. Like the questions were not very hard, but the questions were new. Like questions, I don't think I had seen the exact questions before. So the concepts
Okay.
were pretty basic, like similar to the lead code medium, but the questions were new.
Let's talk a little bit about the HR round, or the non-technical rounds that happen at Google. So can you maybe tell us like how much of a role soft skills play at clearing those rounds? Because a lot of the people out there think ki if they're done with coding, if they're done with practicing a bunch of DSA questions, they can crack it. But what all aspects do they also check apart from your technical ability? If you can share that a little.
So companies basically want to check that, if you are a good fit for them. Like, just because you are good at DSA or you're good at coding doesn't mean you'll be a good fit for the company. So you should also have some skills like, are you able to work in a group? Are you able to handle situations when there are high pressure situations? Something like this. So this the company will check through their HR rounds, or in case of Google, it's googliness round. So all companies have some kind of rounds where they want to check that, what kind of a person you are. So like they'll ask you questions like, if you have to plan a trip for the company, for your team, how will you do that? So in that,
Okay.
this is like, you just have to find, say, a plan, and different people will have different opinions, of course, that, we want to go there or we want to go here. So you have to think that, okay, I'll probably we'll have a majority vote. We'll decide on whether we want to go to the mountains or we'll go to the beaches, something like this. So you have to give an innovative, step by step solution. So, and you have to think of all the cases that, okay, maybe we'll have to think about the budget, we'll have to think about this. So this is
Hmm.
a situation based question. Then there are other
Okay.
questions like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, where do you see yourself in 10 years? So these
Hmm.
are the questions which are, you know sort of, they ask to understand that, what are you thinking of
Hmm.
doing. So if you answer something like, yeah, I am thinking of, maybe for the next 5 years I would like to explore different things, so that is
Hmm.
a good answer, that, I would like to explore different technologies. But if you say something like, yeah, in the next 5 years I'll probably, leave the company and go for, say, higher studies, so then you get rejected. So there are all
Hmm.
these different questions.
Hmm.
So yeah, and then they'll ask you that, okay, when was the time, can you tell me a time when you worked in a project, in a team, and then what were the issues that you faced? So how did you
Hmm.
deal with that? So,
Okay.
like, so balanced answer is the key for that. Like, I
Okay.
just said that, maybe there are times when we don't agree on different things. So then you try to understand the other person's point of view, but you also give your own perspective. And if both of them are equal choices, then you can go for maybe the other person's, opinion. But
Hmm.
if you think that your choice is much better, then you have to make them understand. You have to list out the pros of your choice, and you have to make the everyone should be on the same page, something like that. So soft skills matter a lot.
Okay. So, Amisha, how does one prepare for such rounds? Because मतलब लोग अपने तरीके से some people are straightforward. Sometimes they don't know what answer would be the right to give. क्योंकि कॉलेज ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं, इतना उन्हें पता नहीं होता, इतना एक्सपीरियंस नहीं होता कि राइट आंसर क्या होता है किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए, इवन दो दे कैन बी समवन हु लाइक्स वर्किंग इंडिविजुअली, बट देन दे विल नॉट बी एबल टू देन आंसर कि टीम में काम करना कैसा होता है, right? So is there a way then people can actually get good at such things, even though these are very personality based, but still do you think people can actually get better at answering these questions while also being true to themselves and not being that diplomatic?
So one way is that there are a lot of top HR questions. If you search on the internet, there are a lot of resources that, what should be the answer for these different kinds of situations. So that is one thing you can do. Google has its own YouTube channel where they talk about googliness and what exactly is asked in that, so you can go through that
Acha.
also. But apart from that, I think it's more like personality based. So it sometimes comes naturally to people, but if it doesn't come naturally to you, then just think that, what will the interviewer expect in such a situation. So you have to think from the point of view of the interviewer, that what kind of an
Hmm.
answer is that person expecting, and try to cover all the cases. Like, don't give just a left or a right, like black or white answer. Give a grayish answer that, I will do this, but I'll also do this. So something like that.
Okay. Great. You are quite active on social media as well. You have quite a following on Twitter, and then you're also doing your YouTube, right? And then you are preparing consistently for companies, and then now you have gotten placed at Google. So, can you maybe tell us like how do you manage so much at such a young age, and tips for people who also want to follow similar career path, who wants to do multiple things? So, can you share a few insights on that?
When I started my YouTube or when I started tweeting on Twitter, I don't think of it as a task. Like I think of it more as a fun activity. But yeah,
Hmm.
preparing for companies is actually, or say when I was in college, so then doing my assignments, that was my main, you know, like priority. This was not my priority. This was something I did it in fun time. So like people solve Sudoku in their fun time, free time, and some people talk to their friends in free time. So that was my pastime. So it, I think, depends on whether you enjoy it or not. And I don't think that social media for me is something like I have to do. I think it's just because I do it because I like it. But yeah, for other things it requires consistency, that showing up daily, that I have to, if I have thought of a plan, I'll do two DSA questions daily, then you have to show up and do that daily. So that is, I think, how it works. But social media is something, if you're interested, you can pursue it.
So that is it, guys. I hope you all found it really helpful. You guys can also check out Amisha's YouTube channel, where she shares a lot of insightful videos as well. You can just watch the videos and you will find it extremely helpful.